what do you think about the former CBN governor running into troubles and then having troubles again becoming the Emir of Kano? And what does it portend, former CBN governor being limited in the palace of Kano?
Well, when one is born into royalty, it's a completely different upbringing and a different kind of thinking. His Royal Highness Sanusi Lamide Sanusi was brought up in that tradition. Though he got the best forms of Western as well as Islamic education and a very cosmopolitan person, Lamido can fit anywhere in the world because of his level of exposure, intellect, and erudition. But he has chosen right from childhood to be nothing but the Emir of Kano. It has been a personal aspiration of his right from the time I first met him when he was barely 16 years old. So how you would take it is not the way he has been programmed to take it. And I'm very happy for him because 37 years ago we discussed his aspiration to be the Emir of Kano. There is nothing more important to him in his life than to be the Emir of Kano. And I'm very grateful to God that a series of events have led to him now being the Emir of Kano. I'm very happy for him. He's my brother, he's my friend. I may have lost a friend because once a person becomes Emir, he can't be your friend anymore in the normal context. But I'm very happy that even though I may have lost a friend, Kano has gained a very wise, intelligent, and cosmopolitan person as its Emir, and Kano will benefit from his leadership.
But why do you think the presidency was actually against that emirship in ascending the emirship? Do you think there's something that he has against the presidency or the presidency has against him?
Of course the presidency has a lot against him, and I'm sorry to say this, but I have a president who is petty. Okay? Otherwise, when God has elevated you to the point of being president, how can you stoop so low as to be concerned about who becomes the emir of one part of a country which you govern? But unfortunately, the presidency descended to that level, and it's so sad, and it's a reflection of the kind of people we have running our country. The federal government did everything to frustrate Sanusi Lamide Sanusi as central bank governor, removed him unlawfully from office, got people to say to publish fictitious stories about him.
Was that all, including what is happening right now, still about the missing 20 billion naira?
It is all about the fact that someone had the courage to say you are stealing from our country's treasury, and somebody should investigate and account for it. That is all. That's all it is about. And when God wishes to elevate you, no human being can bring you down. They have removed him from the central bank. They have tried to smear him. The courts have upheld all his suits against them, and God has elevated him to be the Emir of Kano. Whether Mr. Jonathan likes it or not, Sanusi Lamide Sanusi is the Emir of Kano, and he has to live with it. It's as simple as that.
Even if you want to know the latest thing about Sanusi right now or the emirship in Kano, we can always ask you, and then you'll be a very good source for it. What is the situation right now? Because lately there have been a series of events following the emirship of ascension to emirship of Sanusi.
Yes.
Starting from deploying troops. So what is the situation right now?
Yesterday, the emir led Friday prayers, just as his grandfather, the first Emir Sanusi, was doing. He led the Jumaat prayers, and he delivered his sermon in flawless Arabic, exhibiting his depth of Islamic knowledge, and the people of Kano were ecstatic. Immediately after the Friday prayers, he rode in a vehicle to the palace, and in accordance with tradition, got out of the vehicle, got on a horse, and rode to the gates of the palace, and a brand new entrance was carved out of the palace walls for him to go through, and then it is sealed. That is the tradition. They have maintained this tradition for hundreds of years. So he is now in the palace and comfortable in the palace, and virtually all the princes have gone to pay homage to him. So whatever the government or anyone was planning has not quite worked. He is sitting at the Emir of Kano, and for me that's the end of the story, and there is nothing anyone can do about it.
There was a report on the internet yesterday that Sanusi finally had to beg President Jonathan. How true is this?
I think that is completely false. The Sanusi Lamide Sanusi I know would not beg anyone for anything that he knows is right. There is nothing Sanusi has done in office that is not proper. There is nothing President Jonathan can do to stop Sanusi being the Emir of Kano once the kingmakers have recommended him and the governor has appointed him. There is nothing he can do. He can put in the police there. One day they will have to leave. Either they leave now, or when Jonathan is voted out of office, they will leave and he will move into the palace. It will not be reversed. It will not be changed. There is nothing you can do. It's a traditional institution with its own rules, and it is not subject to any oversight by the president of Nigeria. So it was a matter of time, and we're prepared to wait them out.
Does APC know anything about Chibok abduction and all the Rescue Our Girls campaign?
It's laughable. Look, this government is incapable of doing anything. Even if you ask them to eat food, they will not do it competently. They are so incompetent that they speak in ways and manners that really has reduced Nigeria to a laughingstock in the world. Who is APC? Who in APC will arrange the abduction of girls? To what end? To what purpose? They should come out, and if they are the government, if they know anyone, if Nasir El-Rufai is involved, what are they waiting for? Arrest me and prosecute me. But they are all a bunch of liars. They only know how to point fingers at anyone. They don't know how to govern. Instead of sitting down and solving problems, they point fingers at other people. They blame others to divert attention from their incompetence. The primary responsibility of any government is to provide security. They have failed woefully. Instead of focusing on it, they are blaming people. Who is behind the abduction? Who is behind terrorism in APC? You are the government. You have security agencies. You have intelligence agencies. You have the army. You have the police. We have courts. What are you waiting for?
And then
what are they waiting for?
There have also been accusations that you are the party APC, being the biggest opposition party so far in Nigeria, till now, as we speak right now, is taking advantage or exploring advantage of the fact that there's terrorist crisis in the country, and you're exploring that.
Why should
to score cheap political points?
What is we are in opposition? Are we supposed to let a government that has become so incompetent will be praising them and say that, oh, terrorism is happening, Jonathan is doing nothing, well done Jonathan? Are we supposed to do that? We are in opposition. Our job is to look at even good things that they are doing and say they are not doing it well. That is the job of opposition. So we have no apologies for pointing out to Nigerians that this government is incompetent and has failed to provide security. If you say we are politicizing it, fix the problem so that we can't politicize it. Okay? Are we politicizing breathing of air? Every Nigerian can breathe air. We can't politicize it because there is no problem there. But if you fail to supply petroleum products and we say you are failing, you say we are politicizing it. Fix the problem so that we don't politicize it. If you say that there is terrorism, we are politicizing it, eliminate terrorism. 5 years ago, nobody is talking about terrorism in Nigeria. Under Jonathan, it has become an industry. And we should not take advantage of their failings so that we secure the votes of Nigerians in the next elections. There must be something wrong with them. We have made suggestions to the government on how to improve security. They have ignored it. They have set up 5 different committees that have given them recommendations how to address this problem of terrorism in the last 3 years. They have not implemented one. They are incompetent. But they try to blame other people.
So at this stage that we are right now with terrorism in Nigeria, what do you think is the solution, especially on how to rescue the girls?
Look, the government has the solution to this problem. Several committees have given them recommendations. They should just implement the recommendations in their drawer. Okay? As for rescuing the girls, we have seen examples of what countries do when this situation happens. You should have military action on the one hand and negotiation on the other hand. You should not foreclose anything because the lives of your citizens are at risk and you don't want to lose one life. You don't want to lose the life of one person. You don't want to lose the life of 250 girls. So whatever it takes to rescue those girls should be done. If one of these girls was Jonathan's daughter, the story will be different. The only reason why these girls are still in captivity is because they are not the daughter of any important man in Nigeria, and we know it. And if you say I'm politicizing terrorism, go and rescue the girls so that I don't have a basis to politicize it.
So are you in support of negotiation?
I am in support of every option. When you have lives of your citizens at risk, you should not take any option off the table. You should be flexible. You should listen. You should negotiate and look at the price you have to pay and get those girls out. You should not say you won't do this or you won't do that. This is irresponsible.
well,